This is a Musclecat Media production.
Like, if we need to take our weapons for repair and we take them to the smith, that's a noun. That's a place, right?
Like, is that something we could do today? The band is back together on Baseball Expats. All three of us in the same virtual room, digital room, internet room, Elon Musk room. I don't know. I don't know if I want to be in Elon Musk's room. I don't know. Either way, we're at the mercy of his internet today, and it seems to be behaving. So it's Eric Ballner, Andrew Reynolds, Luis Columbus, Spoon, Rolsey, and I need a nickname, I think. I don't really know. Boys, welcome to Baseball Expats. We're all back together again. And before I bring you in, don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit it below. That's the way that you can support us. But boys, the band, start playing some music.
I think the last time we were all together, I was in the Doha airport for like 13 and a half hours, which was a strange experience. It was a strange experience podcasting from the Doha airport, but it was also just weird being in the Doha airport for 13 and a half hours. Don't recommend it. But it's good to be back on Australian soil. It's good to see both your faces again.
All about the lounges in the Doha airport, man. Like, if you don't have a lounge pass, like, what are you even doing in one of those airports, especially for 13 hours? Like, look, that is diabolical, and that's squarely on you.
I have a bone to pick with the. I mean, they have like 17 different levels of lounges in the Doha airport, but the bone that I have to pick with the one that I was in, which, look, let's be honest, it was probably the lowest level lounge. It was nice, but I had a 13 and a half hour layover, and when I walked in, the guy told me that the lounge pass was only good for 6 hours. So I was on the clock from the moment that I walked in. It's that I've never experienced that before. And then, like, sure enough, 6 hours later, some guy comes and checks my ticket, like I'm on a tram in Melbourne, and says, sorry, but you've got to get out of here. So then I had to walk around for the next 6 hours. It was the weirdest thing that I've ever experienced. Like, you either have a lounge pass or you don't have a lounge pass. I don't understand why I was meant to be there for half the time and not the rest of the time. But anyways, I'm glad to not be traveling anymore. That's the moral of the story.
Could you talk yourself out of a ticket? Because I do this all the time in Adelaide with my accent.
What, you've been there for 13 years and you just pretend to be a tourist?
Yeah, correct. So, like, there's that tram that goes from Glenelg into the city of Adelaide. And, like, in the city, it's a free tram. Like, you can just hop on, hop off. Nobody checks. It's all good. But if you want to go Glenelg to Adelaide, you have to pay for it. So you still see those advertisements that's like free tram. And I've done that at a few trips. When I was living in Glenelg especially, like, went from Glenelg to Adelaide, and then like a couple times the conductor or the ticket guy comes in there. You hope that someone that doesn't take their job too seriously, because they are out there, but they're just like, hey, can we see your ticket? And I'm like, what ticket? It's free. This is a free tram. And they're just like, no, it's, you have to pay for it. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I'll pay for it right now. Like, I'm from out of town. I'm from Canada. I'm just visiting. Like, so yeah, I've pulled that trick numerous times, and it works because you just apologize like a good Canadian boy. You buy a ticket and you keep scamming the public system. So, that's what I am. I'm a rebel.
Ask for forgiveness, not permission, right?
I'm sure the guy driving the tram is happy that you called him a conductor, but also you've kind of given yourself up if, like, the Baseball Expats podcast becomes popular among tram conductors in Adelaide. You've sort of given your secret up.
Yeah, I gotta go with the disguise, or I don't know. Hopefully, they don't ask.
That'd be a good problem to have if all of the Adelaide Metro staff are tuning in.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to disguise the Canadian accent too. To be fair, especially in Adelaide.
Anything to save $3.20, fellas. Like, that's the way. And to tell you what, I'm gonna need those savings right now based on how Spoon and I have gone the last 2 episodes of picks. After Spoon was 12 of 16 or 12 of 14 in one stretch, I was hot. We're still up over the last 2 weeks by about 6 units now. Only one of our picks came through of the 4, and we had some heartbreakers, like bad heartbreakers, 8th inning losses. So we'll have some more picks for you. I'm feeling good about mine. It's a Monday slated game. Spoon's also got a game for us on the show too. But yeah, Rolsey, Spoon and I have hit a bit of a mid-summers slump at the moment, despite being close on a lot of them.
Well, and I'd been out of town, obviously, for a month and a half, trying to follow when I could. And so obviously tuned into weekend pickoff. We tried to be on weekend pickoff, but the Harvey Bay internet disallowed that. So tuned in on Saturday morning, really excited to see how the picks were going. And there was like a 15-minute stretch where it went from like the full smiling, mouth open, happy emoji to like full tears. And like it all crumbled down in 3 games within like 10 minutes of each other. It was like from the highest of highs to the lowest of lows.
Yeah, that, what was it? The Pirates rally bottom of the 8th, right at the same time. Hunter Brown
led
let, like, 6
never,
guys reach
led
in a
never,
row.
and then decided to take the lead with 2 outs in the 8th inning.
Chase Burns 10 or 11 strikeouts too. Easiest watch ever on that half of the PPD. And then the Reds bullpen. Brutal.
We'll have some more picks coming up for you, but boys, Spoon's got a game for us. But quickly before we get to the game, and which is before the picks, so there's always something before the something. Quick takeaways from the weekend of baseball. Nothing too complicated. I just want to hear your thoughts and prayers maybe from the weekend. Start with you, Spoon.
Yeah, okay. I think it was a really interesting weekend where nothing changed too much outside of like the key things to watch. We talked about Eric, you and I on Friday, that Yankees Astros series, and then the Guardians and the White Sox. It stayed interesting without completely losing that kind of touch. Like the Yankees are in trouble for sure now, I think. But they did win one of the 3, right? And the difference, you sort of referred to the difference between them sweeping that or getting swept in that series and just taking one game, like, looms quite large. And they did manage to take the game today and prevent the sweep. So, I think that's probably what I'm most locked in on at the moment is Yankees missing a wild card spot would be one of the biggest collapses I think I could remember in years, given what Judge is doing. And they went out and bought a lot of guys at the deadline and a lot of the best relievers that were out there. They've got a top 5 Cy Young chance in Max Fried. There's not really a lot of holes there. So for that team to miss out completely, given where they were and how far ahead they were in the East, that's what I'm watching.
That's my takeaway is the New York meltdowns, right? Because all these teams traded guys at the deadline that were maybe in the mix, thinking that, these teams are too far out of touch, and rightfully so. But the Yankees have been terrible lately. The Mets have lost like 12 of their last 13 games or whatever it is. Yeah. And now all of a sudden, the Yankees are playing Minnesota, and the Minnesota Twins, who traded 40% of their roster and are 5 games below 500, are 4.5 games back of a playoff spot and playing the team that they're chasing this weekend, where like no one even in Minnesota is thinking they're going to make the playoffs. But if Minnesota all of a sudden go out and sweep the Yankees this week, they're all of a sudden like that would be the chaos scenario, because then you'd have like 5 teams all within half a game of each other. And then the New York Mets, man, they're so bad. Like they are so bad. All of a sudden, teams are back in the fray. Like the Reds are knocking on the doorstep. They're 1 win behind. The Cardinals, who are just the definition of mediocrity, are all of a sudden 3.5 games back. Like, and it's by no reason of these teams. Like the Reds, the Reds, they're a pretty mediocre team, and the Cardinals, they're a pretty mediocre team. Both of those teams are 5-5 in their last 10, and they've gained 4 games in the wild card chase by playing literally the most average baseball you could possibly play. And it's because these New York teams are melting down, and it's creating a little bit of an interesting playoff race. And the Giants are suddenly back in the picture. Like it's weird, and it's all the fault of everyone from New York. Tough day to be a New York sports fan. I'll just say the New York Jets just exist. So that's just adding more insult to injury.
The Jets would be going, how have I copped a stray when our season hasn't even started? I've got a couple things, but before that, I know you guys talked on Friday a little bit about the AL MVP race and how it was kind of this really fun race, and now it's just become who's not going to lose it. If the Yankees don't make the playoffs and Cal Raleigh's Mariners do, I mean, he hasn't really been hitting the ball that well either since the All-Star break, but does that come into, and I don't think it matters as much for the Cy Young, and I'll get to that point in just a second, but In the MVP, I feel like it does. For whatever reason, it almost feels like the MVP has to be on a playoff team, whereas the Cy Young winner, it's all just about numbers. And it really is. I mean, you throw once every 5 days, so you can't influence wins and losses that much, right? If the Yankees don't make the playoffs, is Judge still a lock to win the MVP?
The Mariners can win the division too. Like that's sort of, I dropped a few graphs, I think, over the weekend of like division percentage odds in our group chat. And I was like, whoa, like the Mariners are right in there for the division now. Like it wasn't that long ago we were talking about them as a wild card kind of fringe team. And it's not even like the Astros have really slowed down. They've still been great, but the Mariners are just starting to click. And I think to your point, that would definitely help what is, a little bit of a narrative-based award, especially if it's going to need a tiebreaker if the two seasons are that close as far as, output and WAR and all of that.
I think Raleigh's now the favorite on the MVP at last check, but barely. Like that was, but barely. And I just don't see how it's anybody except Aaron Judge still. But Raleigh is back, I think, on the last
$72. Aaron Judge is favorite, but yeah, wow.
I'm looking at one here that has Cal Raleigh as the favorite.
Wow.
But barely, right? They're basically the same. They're less than $2 each.
They're worried Judge isn't playing the rest of the year, right? That's just injury. Like if Judge can play the last 50 games or whatever it is, he just wins. But I think it's really feeding into that conversation we had that was like, if he stops playing now, is it going to be enough? And we almost put the wood on him because not long after that, he kind of went to the IL and hasn't really played since.
Yeah, so I mean, it's interesting. It's back up there. Bobby Witt Jr. is still third, but he's still like 100-1 or something like that. So, they're not.
I think you could now say if Aaron Judge and Cal Raleigh both stop playing today, one of them still wins. Like,
I think so too.
I don't think anyone should be 101s. I think there should be 5,000 to ones in third because I don't see, even if neither play again, the voters are just going to pick between those two.
Yeah, and then in the NL, it's going to be Shohei. What he's doing with the bat and with the ball in his hand is ridiculous. But Kyle Schwarber, second on there too, and he's hit a lot of home runs as well. Schwarber is having a ridiculous time. But yeah, that's an interesting takeaway, Rolsey, is that the AL race, which was over not long ago, is sort of back in the equation now. But you're right, it's just a 2-horse race.
And so it sort of brings me to my next point, which is kind of the antithesis, which years ago, King Felix basically set the precedent that you don't have to be on a good team in order to win the Cy Young. I mean, I haven't looked at the betting, but I imagine Paul Skenes is probably unbackable odds to win the NL Cy Young. Is that correct at present?
$1.12.
Well, I mean, some of us don't have a bank account like you do, Spoon, so that's unbackable for people like me.
Better than bank interest, mate.
Yeah, for people like you.
You're not getting 12% anywhere else.
Yeah, well, I think historically the S&P 500 has returned like 11% over the last 50 years, so you're getting 1% better than the S&P. So, point taken. But I still just feel like, for whatever reason, Paul Skenes is underrated, and it almost feels like that makes sense, right? But because he pitches for such a bad team, it's almost like how good his numbers are for mine aren't getting the recognition they deserve. Maybe because everybody's waiting to see what the Pirates do with him. We know he's good, but it almost doesn't matter. I mean, his career ERA after 46 starts was $1.99, and no one's ever done that in the live ball era. Like Vida Blue was 203, Dwight Gooden was 227, Oral Hershiser 231, Jose Fernandez, God rest his soul, 239. So it's not that he's in elite company as basically the first couple of years in his career. He is the company, right? He's one of one. And it's not just ERA, like the advanced pitching metrics and all that sort of back it up. So it clearly has to do with the team that he's on. I mean, his record's 7-8, which doesn't do it justice. I think I looked up like some comparable pitchers, and like Andre Pallant, I think technically has a better win-loss record than Paul Skenes does. Not that matters. But like you also look at like in his wins, his opponents are hitting like $150 against him. I think there's only 2 players that are like that have the requisite amount of at bats that have a worse OPS than the collective does against Paul Skenes, which is just absurd to think about. So it's kind of like, yeah, okay, Skenes is good. We know that he's going to go out and strike out 10 and throw 7 innings, and he's probably going to leave with the game being 1-1 or 0-0. But it just feels like if he was pitching in New York, if he was pitching in LA, or if he was pitching anywhere somewhere where they were in a playoff race and it wasn't Pittsburgh, we'd be talking about this guy like he's a god, where it's almost just like a wait-and-see thing with Paul Skenes. Am I the only one feeling that?
Yeah, just enjoy it though, because he will be a Dodger or a Yankee in 3 years, and it's going to go the opposite. It's going to be the
Fair.
Ohtani glazing kind of situation, and we're going to get sick of hearing his name soon. And he's going to be the face of pitching in baseball. So I'm just going to enjoy him being underrated or at least undermarketed for a couple of years, knowing that I'm going to be overdosing on Skenes content.
I don't think he's totally like. I think that's a good call that he's going to be on those big teams, and we are going to get sick of him. But I think that we hear about Skenes plenty and too much. Like I hear nothing except about Skenes when you refer to the Pirates. Like he's the only person that gets referred to when the Pirates are mentioned at all. And every day when he's starting, you see his stat line, and every day you see that he's starting against whoever. And then it's always a joke that he lost the game despite chucking 7 innings, allowing 1 run, where then you have guys like on the other end, like today, Jeff Hoffman. Did you see him today? He was a
5
winning.
walks.
He was a winning pitcher.
Yeah,
he was the first pitcher ever to allow 5 walks in less than an inning of work and still get credited with the win.
He owes. Who was it who came in after him?
Flu season, baby. Mason Fluharty.
Yeah, he owes him many slabs of alcoholic beverages.
They are calling it in Toronto. It's been all over. The flu game.
Well, this is why, like 10 years ago, Major League Baseball gave the scorers the right to choose who the winning pitcher should be under certain circumstances. That should be written in. If you have that bad of a performance, you shouldn't be allowed to be the winning pitcher. Not that pitching wins matter.
It's just that the winner can't get the save. That's the problem.
Yeah.
If you could just give the same guy both, it would probably fix some of those weird situations, right?
No, it's a good point.
He was the winning pitcher and the save effectively, Fluharty.
But I mean, he deserved. He deserved both of those.
And there were some crazy stats too there about how he was like the first pitcher to come into a game versus like guys with 4 MVPs combined back to back, and he got them both out with bases loaded without conceding. Or I don't know how many times that would actually come up with how many like that Dodger lineup, but still impressive from Fluharty.
It was crazy as well that was it the 0-1 pitch, the check swing on Ohtani, like clearly went so far around and just got called a check swing, and like he was kind of right up against it, and then that 9-pitch AB throws one down, gets him chasing. Yeah. That was an inch away basically from being a sweep. Instead, you kind of leave that series feeling not too bad, and just kind of keep moving on, knowing that the Yankees didn't gain any ground anyway.
Yeah, or the Red Sox now seems to be the problem, right? Like that's the team that's kind of going to be chasing down the Blue Jays on that side of things. But the Jays actually gained, right? Like now all of a sudden they're 4 games back ahead of the Red Sox, so they've got a tidy little cushion right now, but. Yeah, the race right now is the Mariners in the West. They're half a game back, and everyone else is minimum, well, except the Dodgers and Padres. There's a 2-game separation. Everything else is like 4 to 6 games. So I don't know. It'll be an interesting end. Anyways, Spoon, what do you got for us in terms of games today?
Okay, so we've done the switch hitting theme team, and we've done the ending in Z theme team. I'm going to disclaimer that I don't know if it's going to be possible to build a decent lineup with this theme, but we're going to try. And like last time, we're going to try and start with guys that are active right now. And if we need to, go through the annals of history and wind back the clock to inactive players to get a lineup, we will. But I think we can do a 9-position lineup, hopefully, without needing to do that.
Let's clarify that Rolsey and I have no idea what you're about to say.
I'm not filled with confidence when Spoon's first thing out of his mouth is, look, I don't know that we can build a team of 9 guys with these rules, but we're going to try it. Doesn't fill me with confidence.
I like it.
Yeah, I'll drop the theme and I'll drop an example of a guy now and a guy inactive, and then you kind of know what I'm thinking. The theme for today is they have to be an object or a noun as their surname. So a current player would be James Wood, and a former player would be our favorite man, Jake Cave, now in the KBO, I believe. So
wait,
let's see.
So can it be fish names like we've done before? Like, does that count as a noun?
Yeah, that's a noun. Yeah.
I can think of one right away, but only because he plays on the Toronto Blue Jays.
Well, let's do our usual around the horn and start with catcher. I don't know. I've got a if Pedro Pages, if we determine that can be pronounced pages, as in pages in a book, we can maybe squeeze him in as catcher. But I don't know if there's better options than that.
I am drawing a complete
Would
blank.
George Springer be a thing?
Is a springer a thing though? Like a spring
Well, a
is
spring is a thing. I mean, I
springer
just don't know
someone
how
who
much of a
wins the-
stickler you're going to be. Or a stick. Are you going to be a stick?
I think that's going to be case by case as usual.
Okay.
I like to move
I mean,
goalposts.
the only one that I can think of is Miles Straw. Like that's the one that came first to mind.
I think there'll be more than you realize when we get to it. But I'm trying to. If we start with catches, like, can we go Will Smith? Because a Smith is like a person who fits armor suits and creates weapons in a medieval town.
Maybe.
Like if we need to take our weapons for repair and we take them to the Smith, that's a noun. That's a place, right?
Like, is that something we could do today? Like go to a
Yeah,
Smith?
but like it's a
Someone
Smith.
Google that. Like
Smith, noun, a worker in metal. We do not know whether the metals were mined and smelted by the Smith or purchased from miners. Will Smith's our catcher. Like we just don't have enough options, I don't think. He's also potentially going to win a batting title anyway, so I'm not sure we need options.
I mean, I guess that
I mean, you make the rules, so if you're happy with it, we're happy with it.
Yeah, well, if it's got an Oxford Dictionary definition as being a noun, that's our cutoff point. Okay.
All right.
We're gonna need all the help we can get, to be totally honest.
Yeah.
Right,
Well, let's lock in Will Smith. If something pops up, we can revisit it later. What do you guys think? First base.
Is Brandon
I don't
Belt
know.
still kicking around?
I think he's now in a front office job.
Well,
But what about names
foreign
like
players,
Hunter?
former players, if we need one. Yeah, Hunter could
Yeah.
work.
Well, Christian Walker, like a walk is something that elderly ladies use to like cross the road, right?
Yeah, Christian Walker. That's good.
Can we do better than Christian Walker? He's not having a great year, but he is a noun. I'm trying to think who else plays a decent first base.
Is a Guerrero a noun somewhere?
It's got to be an English noun. we might struggle to beat Christian Walker, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know what else we could do. Like, but now I know we have another pitcher at least in Taiwan Walker.
And is a free man like a free man? Like you've done your time in prison and now you're a free man.
Oh my god.
Oh, good
Can we
grief.
squeeze Freddie into this lineup? Probably
Good
not.
grief.
Yeah, I mean that's probably I think that's where a stretch is made.
Okay, so we'll leave Freeman and we'll go with Walker because I think I can drum up a definition. Walker, a person who walks or a device for helping a baby or elderly person walk. Yeah, all right, Christian Walker's locked in. It's not a bad team so far. Second base.
Trevor Story?
Yeah.
Nice. Trevor Story, yeah.
I don't know if we're going to get better than that. I don't think we need to.
I mean, he's not having a great season. He's having a decent season, actually.
Wait, this might apply when we get to more outfield positions, but I just want to see, like, can we have names, what is it, like, that sound like they are, right? So, like, Corbin Carroll,
homophone?
right?
Homophone?
A homophone, yeah. No, not that. Well, I can't speak English today, but like Corbin Carroll, right? Like it's not spelt like Christmas Carol, but a Christmas Carol would count as.
Yeah, I think it's
name.
homophone. Same pronunciation, different meaning or spelling.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah, so Corbin Carroll, yeah. We're doing
Well,
it
then in
like
that case, could we go like Michael Bush at first base?
Yeah, do you want him over Christian Walker?
Probably. Michael Bush is having a good year, man.
Christian Walker's playing Gold Glove defense every single year.
I mean, you could argue that Bush is an object. It's a beer. I think it's also like a forest or something, B-U-S-C-H. So I think it's actually a thing, regardless.
Does he play any other positions?
He could be our DH at a minimum, right? So we'll pen him in as a utility
let's
guy.
just write his name down for later.
Or Christian Walker becomes the DH.
See, I've got a thing now. Catcher, like Raleigh is a place. That's a thing.
That's a proper noun.
Oh, good grief. You've really opened up a can of worms, Spoon. You've opened up a can of spoons.
Well, what about for shortstop? Is it Bobby Witt? Like
he's got great wit about
great
him.
Wit.
Yep.
Is that classify as a
Story at second, Wit at short? This team's looking like it could,
It's a decent team.
compete. Yeah.
Or Zach Nito?
I think if we're putting Zach Neto on the team,
Hey, one more thing. We need to check this. But if you were living in medieval times and
you've already been to the Smith,
and you want to go home and you want to enjoy some music, what kind of instrument would be played in medieval times? And think angelic. What would angels play if you were at the
harp?
Harp?
Yeah, so
Harper?
is someone who plays a
Good
harp
grief.
a Harper?
Well,
I don't
eventually
know,
we're
but I'm
just
gonna-
going to get to the all MLB team and find a way to.
Harper is a noun. It's got a definition with
Yeah,
a
it is.
musician.
A Harper's a noun.
The
Definition:
person
a
who plays the
Harper
harp.
player.
Wow. Okay, well then he's our first baseman, right?
It's
Christian
in,
Walker's
it's
gone.
in the dictionary.
Christian Walker's gone. Bryce Harper is going to be playing the harp at first base.
Okay.
Maybe Christian Walker's DH.
It is literally. I'm looking up the definition now. Is a
So second-
What's a Schwarb?
No, outfield. I reckon we're going to be fine in the outfield.
Outfield's going to be good. We're
So
going to
second, we've got Story. Short, we've got Witt. Who's playing third?
Oh, I mean, we might need to move someone over. I don't know.
I don't think any of our first base guys can play anywhere else in the infield.
Like Josh Bell. Well, like Bell. Like where does he play? Where does Josh? Bell?
He's another first base DH type. We've really got a type here on the noun team. They're just like
Jackson
power hitting.
Holiday. Could we move him over?
Nice, that's a good call.
Is a Shaw
Trevor
an
Story. Can we
object?
put him in third?
I think Story can play third, but then who's our extra? We still need a middle infielder, right?
Well, then that'd be
Saying,
Jackson Holiday.
Is a Shaw an object? Could Matt Shaw play third base? Look up Shaw. There's got to be something in that.
I'm
It'd be
looking at.
hilarious if we get Harper and Smith away,
Post.
but not sure.
Can
The parts
post.
of a potato plant.
There we go.
The what?
So
The
we'll
parts
take
of a potato
post.
plant that appear above the ground. That is
Perfect. So we'll
Oh.
take post All-Star break Matt Shaw for 1,000, Alex.
So Matt Shaw's playing third.
I
Yeah,
think you could
because
put him
he's
at
part
third.
of a potato plant,
Mm-hmm. Of course.
which is not a knock on the Chicago Cubs.
Well, has Matt? Well, yeah, okay. So
Post
I can't
All-Star
think
break
of
Matt
another-
Shaw.
Like I'm trying to think other teams, other divisions. I
who's
just can't think of like a good third baseman that has just like a nice noun name.
who's our second baseman now?
If you had Holiday at second and Witt at short, yeah.
Yeah. Well, here's another one for you. If you go to the horse races
Oh yeah.
and you
No,
place
dog.
multiple
grief.
wagers on something, what's another word for the plural of wagers if we're going crossword?
Saturdays.
Saturdays, multiple Saturdays. Some bets, like where does Mookie fit into this?
Yeah, okay. That's a good call. Betts, I mean, yeah, Betts is definitely, and it didn't theme for the pod as well, right? It'd actually be probably bad voodoo not to put him in.
Mm.
I mean,
Can he play third? I don't think he's ever played third.
yeah, but is he all of a sudden like, is he just outfield or shortstop or second? Like he's played all of those.
Can we put Witt at third? He's got the arm strength.
Has he played? We got to actually check. Has he played a lot of third base? Right? Because like I don't.
I'd
think we
settle
can-
for like he's played an inning at third base, and we can just
he's listed on his baseball reference as shortstop and third base.
Okay. So Witt at third, Mookie at shortstop, and Holiday at second. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, outfield, I think, is going to be stacked. Like we already touched on Trout. James Wood is right there as well. I think those two guys have to be there.
What, Trout?
Trout and James Wood.
And well, what about Aaron Judge?
Yeah.
Like
It's going to be our best team
that's
ever.
the most obvious one of them all. I felt like
It was prefaced with, I don't know if we can build a team at all, and now it's going to be the
So
strongest
now
team.
we've got Trout,
Probably one
and
of the
Judge.
best.
Is James Wood there, or
What about Taylor
probably-
Ward?
our DH is going to be another outfielder? I think, given how strong we are there.
Taylor
I
Ward.
mean, James Wood's having like a
James Wood,
900
yeah.
OPS season, right? Like he's just been superb this year. What's he
Yeah, but
posted?
Taylor Ward is also having a pretty good year too. He's hit 27 homers. He's got 87 RBIs.
How many WAR?
Let's check.
James Wood has 3.4.
Taylor Ward has 2.5. James Wood.
Okay.
What about Riley
James Wood.
Green?
He's having a good year. Yeah.
Riley Green, his WAR is 1.9. Wow, that's lower than I thought it would be.
Yeah, okay. Who else is, I mean, if I'm missing Aaron Judge, I must be missing some other like egregious noun names, right?
What about a man that has 3 nouns in his name?
If you're going to say Crow Armstrong,
That's exactly what I'm going to say. Pete Crow Armstrong. It's actually 4. What about Suzuki?
well, I think we shut Riley down for being a proper noun, so I think we have to shut Brands down under the same.
Okay, what about Corbin Carroll?
I mean, yeah, I'd love to get him in there, obviously, and I think it works because
His name
we're
is
putting
Carroll.
in Witt and we're putting in Betts. I think a Carroll maybe a little bit early ahead of our expats Christmas episode, but it could be, we could be doing Christmas carols for the theme team today.
Is a Rooker anything?
Someone who rooks.
Someone who rooks? Carrie
He
Carpenter?
who rooks.
It is not a definition officially, apparently. In South African English, it's someone who cheats or swindles, which is in a way what we're doing with this whole rule set. But I don't think we can get Rooker in there.
So he'd be fitting. So he's the
about-
captain, is what you're saying.
Wait, do we
He's
need
the-
another
he's
catcher?
He's the manager.
Brent Rooker's our mascot.
Are we sold on Smith and with that loose medieval definition of Smith? Because we could go for...
Can we just not call it a loose... Like, if you're getting Bryce Harper in because he plays the harp, I'm 100% getting a guy who smiths as like a blacksmith. That
What
just
about
has to
Hunter
happen.
Goodman?
I mean, over who?
Smith. Goodman's
What?
hitting 278 this year.
Smith's going to win a batting title.
I mean, probably.
He's batting 313. He's got 4.2 WAR. I don't know.
Yeah, that feels better.
And I don't like the Dodgers, so I'm like, if you can give me like a little bit more, I'm happy to take him out.
No,
It's just going to have to be more than Hunter Goodman, I think.
no, Goodman's in. We've got Will Smith, Bryce Harper, Jackson Holiday, Mookie Betts, Bobby Witt Jr., Aaron Judge, Mike Trout, and Corbin Carroll. It's pretty much the
What's a-
American World Baseball
I
Classic.
think I've got it. Kyle Tucker. You know, like, I'm starving. We should pull into the servo and get some Tucker.
Oh, that's a good one. So is he our DH?
Does it have a definition?
Yeah.
Yeah, Tucker food. What's the best Tucker? Yeah.
So
I
is
think
he
we've
our
gotta get
DH?
up. Yeah, but so who's the outfielder missing out then? Is James Wood dropping off?
Yeah, he's out. Trout, Judge, Carroll, and Tucker. I like.
That's a really good team, man. That,
Unbelievable.
Who's our pitchers though? What about our pitchers?
Well, you touched on Taiwan Walker.
Well, Zach
Um,
Wheeler,
Can we have Hunter Brown?
Crochet, Cease, Webb, like
Crochet,
Brown.
wow.
Like this team
Yeah.
is Gore.
Yeah, if we put Mackenzie Gore in under the other definition, we've got to change this to an MA15 podcast.
Mhm.
Well, Mackenzie Gore. That Gore is just a legitimate noun.
Yeah. So what's the rotation? Gore, Hunter Brown, Hunter Green.
Gore, Brown. Well, what about Wheeler?
Yep. Wheeler and Dealer.
What about Logan Webb?
Logan Webb has to be there.
Sonny Gray? Robbie Ray?
Yeah. How many dudes have just been sitting there with these noun names? I've not even thought about them.
Yeah.
I mean, Crochet has to be there, right? Like, it's
You could go Fry. Chris Sale?
yeah. Okay, let's lock in on 5. It's got to be Wheeler. He's on 5 WAR. It's got to be Crochet. He's 4.8. Hunter Brown's 4.5. So those 3 are in.
So we're going Brown, Wheeler,
Crochet. Yep.
So we're going Brown, Wheeler, Crochet. I think just because he's won a Cy Young, I kind of want to go with a Robbie Ray or Chris Sale.
Sale's on the IL, so I'm happy to go Robbie Ray.
Or do we want to
And-
go? Yeah, let's go Robbie Ray.
I
What
mean, who else?
about
Mackenzie Gore's probably the 5th one then, right?
Yeah, probably.
Who's
Mackenzie-
managing?
Cease? Well, that's more of
yeah,
a-
cease and desist. Dylan Cease.
that's a verb though, right? That's not a noun.
Yeah.
You stop. Wait till the verb team in a couple of weeks' time.
The
That's gonna be a
verb
tricky
team.
one.
Good grief. Who's managing? Dusty Baker.
Yeah, you got to go Dusty Baker.
You gotta
Let's
go
go,
Dusty,
Logan
surely,
Webb
right?
as the
Yeah,
other
go
guy.
Webb over Gore, especially after what he did to me last week.
Yeah,
Is there anybody
I-
managing that's better than Dusty? This seems like a team that Dusty could probably handle. He wouldn't have to do
Dusty's
much.
he's
You have
managing.
to bring him out of retirement. I'm trying to.
No,
I mean,
Dusty's managing in the World Baseball Classic coming up. So he's not
Well-
fully retired. He's still active.
List of current major league managers. All right, any of these jump out as verbs? Not really. AJ Hinch
What about
is Hinch.
Oh, guys, I have our closing pitcher.
No.
I have our
Oh,
closer.
Kevin Cash. Kevin Cash is our manager.
I have our closing pitcher.
Kevin Cash is good.
Or do we have Craig Counsell? Because like I just got my council rates and I still don't know where the money's going because there's not a single new bin or bit of playground equipment in my area. Do better on the council.
Nah, not
Sounds like
American
there's
enough.
sounds like
I
there's
like
some
Kevin
things you need
Cash.
to reconcile in your personal life there, Spoon. That sounded personal.
it's-
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Is-
We'll do Kevin Cash then.
Is
Okay, so
Will
what we
Vest
need
our
to-
closer?
Who's that?
Will Vest.
Yeah.
His name's Vest, and he's got where is
It's-
he? He's
it's
got
an
a few
object.
saves this year.
That's a noun.
He's got 16 saves this year with the Tigers.
So if something is helpful or beneficial, that's known as a boon. Like it'll give the area a boon.
Yeah,
So
but
can
we
go
still
Aaron,
don't want him.
We don't want Aaron Boone as our manager.
We
He
still
goes into war for his guys, though.
don't want him.
All right, Kevin Cash it is. But Kevin Cash is just going to go and pull our starter in the most critical moment of a World Series game and leave the fan base filthy, and that's going to define his legacy.
Yeah, okay. Well, then who else? What are the other options?
It's Boone, Cash, or Council.
Or we bring Dusty out of retirement. I think
I
Dusty
think we
would be
go
great for
Dusty.
this team.
Let's go
Dusty,
Dusty.
Dusty is not retired.
Especially if we're doing like Harper is someone who plays a harp, Walker is someone who walks, Smith is someone who is like a blacksmith. There's almost like a little subset here of guys who are doing their own profession.
If Nicaragua can have Dusty Baker as their manager for the World Baseball Classic, we can have him for our all-noun team.
Our theme team, yeah.
All right, so managed by Dusty Baker, our starting rotation is Garrett Crochet, Hunter Brown, Zach Wheeler, Logan Webb, and Robbie Ray, and locking things down in the ninth is Will Vest. Our lineup is Will Smith, Bryce Harper, Jackson Holiday, Mookie Betts, Bobby Witt as our infield. Our outfield is Aaron Judge, Mike Trout, Corbin Carroll, and our DH is Kyle Tucker.
When we do the bracket, we need to make sure this and the Z team are on the other side of the bracket, because the Z team I thought was going to be impossible to beat, but this is a really good team.
Well, I'll tell you what we could do here, because like a team with a collective WAR of 0 is like a 43-win team in a 162-game season or something like that? Like a 0 WAR, all replacement players, I think is like 43 wins. So what we could do is actually go through, tabulate the WAR that these guys have currently through, 120 games, and probably predict what the record would be. And my guess is it would be pretty silly.
Yeah, and I think we've done a pretty good job so far of having no overlap. Like, none of the names we just mentioned, believe it or not, there's not many nouns that end in Z, so we didn't sort of cannibalize the existing team too much there. I think there was a little bit with the switch hitting team, maybe. But yeah, we might have a pretty nice little bracket if we can build this up to 8 teams over the next 5 weeks. We're gonna have our own little playoff watch going on.
This is ridiculous. All right, I'm into it. All right, well, I'll write that team out, but that is a good team. This was way harder than, this was an easier one than we thought. I thought it was going to be way harder. I was convinced Miles Straw was going to be.
I thought we were going to have to bring Jake Cave over from the
KBO.
Yeah, what team's he with? The Twins or something? And bring him back to the other Twins.
Wow, we did well. All right, should we get to some picks, boys?
Let's do it.
All right. Who started last? We need to mix things up. Rolsey, you tell us who to start. We're overthinking this.
But just because I've seen the dedication that Spoon's put in with the different uniforms, the sleeves underneath the uniform a couple of weeks ago, and because of that just horrid stretch that he had in 10 minutes on Saturday, I feel like he's got something for us, Eric. Look, you've been on fire. You've done well the last couple of weeks. I think Spooner needs to lift, and I think he will lift this week.
So the last couple of weeks.
Well, so. Hey, look, it's, as Spoon would say, better than bank interest.
I'm avalanching Spoon this week. I'm avalanching Spoon. He's got to get one. He's due. So you go ahead, Spoon.
All right. Well, you boys have covered it well. Like a recovering heroin addict, this Spoon is cold right now. But we can turn things around very quickly, and I want to kind of just simplify things a little bit, still sticking with the theme of value, but just maybe not relying on too many things, because, yeah, the Cincinnati Reds bullpen and I have decided to see other people after the weekend. It was just messy, and watching those player performance doubles over the last couple of weeks fall apart late in games because of bullpens giving up runs. I mean, it's fine for me to do that on my own dime as a D-backs fan. I'm used to that. But when I'm doing that on other people's dimes as well, it just starts to come a little bit soul-crushing. So I want to kick things off and I guess go against one of the guys who just made the rotation on our theme team, noun team. I was quite surprised to see the pricing tomorrow for the Red Sox and Astros game. I know that Crochet is on the mound, and I know that the Red Sox are kind of hanging in there despite not doing a great deal at the deadline. The Astros are $2.45 for a team at home, and I'm pretty surprised by that because they went out and bought, and their lineup is nice now. Adding Sanchez, bringing Correa home, who just immediately looks like he's back to enjoying his baseball. This is a team that I think is just going to make the ALCS more likely than not, because they just do it every year. And there's more reinforcements to come by way of their starting pitching returning from the IL too. So instead of getting complicated, adding strikeouts, adding sort of, player performance doubles, give me $2.45 about the Houston Astros at home tomorrow as one of the longest sort of priced home dogs you'll see for a team that's winning their division right now.
I'm liking this because I'm also was looking at teams too, and I think we got to go back to basis. So for my first pick, I'm going to go for picking teams, but you're not going to like it, and it's going to be a multi. So We're going 2 wins, and I'm going to put money on the evil Empires to win tomorrow. The Dodgers and the Yankees. If you multi them together, at last check, it was 255 for the Yankees to win, and they're playing the Minnesota Twins, who have been struggling, and the Yankees need to win this game, right? Like, they just need to win this game. They need to win this series, get off on the right foot. And the Dodgers have Yamamoto going tomorrow versus Soriano in the Battle of LA. So all I'm doing is I'm asking for the 2 teams that were in the World Series last year to win tomorrow versus a team that traded 40% of their roster at the trade deadline, and a guy that's starting Yamamoto coming off a tough loss versus the Blue Jays. So I'm going to go with the Yankees into the Dodgers. I'm not going to like it. I'm going to have tough time cheering for it. But you know what? If they lose, I'm happy. If they win, I'm also happy. So I'm going to go Yankees and Dodgers both to win in a multi at 255.
That's just like the baseball equivalent of betting on the Lakers and the Dallas Cowboys. Like, it's just the bad of the bad, right? The big market of the big market.
Yeah,
but, I mean,
you put it down, you lay it, and then you go away and you do something else for 4.5 hours. You don't
go to church and confess.
Yeah, you go see somebody.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I'm very surprised. I'm very surprised to see Dodgers at $1.55. Like, they've been shorter than that in games where they're probably less of a chance than they are against the Angels. And, coming off a game today where they were so close to stealing it and coming away with the sweep. I hate to say the words, but the Dodgers, I guess, are good value. And Rolsey, you can just clip and delete that and make sure no one ever actually hears me say that.
But you gotta back them into something else to up that over the 2 value. And the Yankees, I feel like they gotta win, man. They just have to win. So that's what I'm basing that off of. All right, let's actually mix this up. We've been trading shots. Maybe this is the voodoo we need to switch things up. Maybe we'll go 1, 2, 1 in like a snake draft.
Yeah. A spoon sandwich.
A spoon sandwich, right? So, Spoon, you can help me with this one because I have a couple different markets I like, and every time we put together a bet, it's paid off because you've kind of helped here. Now, I'm looking for value in a bit of a different spot, and I didn't think I'd say this name because I honestly didn't know the name before, well, like the last week, and that's Cade Cavalli, who is the starting pitcher tomorrow for the Washington Nationals, playing the Kansas City Royals. Now, first off, I actually think there's some value in the first market that I like, which is the Nationals at 225 versus the Royals. Because Cavalli was pretty good in his first start of the year last week. He was, 4 1/3, didn't allow a run. He had 6 strikeouts, and the Royals at home score 3.2 runs per game. So Bailey Falter is probably their worst starter, maybe on the Royals. So their bullpen is just okay. So I kind of like the chances here of the Nationals to steal one. I like Cavalli. I think he can back that up again. So many times you get little value there. The other one that's interesting is his strikeout line is at 4.5. And again, I think it's 225 just to hit the overs on that. So you could go a player performance double of 5+ into the Nationals win, and you're getting into the 4s at this point. Or do I just take Cavalli, or do I just take Washington? For all those reasons, I like the pitcher. I don't like the offense from the Kansas City Royals. There's 3 potential plays, and I need help narrowing it down to 1. What say you, O Guru Spoon?
Don't like going strikeouts against the Royals this year. It's just something that hasn't gone well for me. They are that pesky contact team in a very similar vein to the Blue Jays. And there's a lot of times I've just watched those strikeout plays against Kansas die because Witt's taken an 11-pitch AB, and then he draws a walk at the end of it, and it's kind of all for nothing. So, yeah, I mean, look, we're trying to find something over $2. I think $2.20 just on the win alone is quite nice. If you wanted to isolate the pitchers out of it, I think the team total kind of works as well. But you're not going to be getting the same price then. And like you said, Cavalli's been solid in his outing so far, and you remove him then from sort of consideration if you do the team total. So, look, I'm as much of a player performance double guy as anyone on the planet, I think. But maybe just for purely value reasons, the 220 win is kind of enough.
All right, we're going to do that. We're going to go because of Cade Cavalli. Let me make that clear. I think the Washington Nationals will win. So we've got 3 so far. We've got the Red Sox to beat the Astros at 245. We've got the Yankees and the Dodgers to win. They both need to do it for that to pull off at 255. Washington at 225. Are we going to complete the ticket with just the most boring ticket we've had to date, where we're just picking team wins, but maybe that's what the doctor ordered? We haven't done a lot of it this year, but Spoon, it's up to you.
Look, it's going to be boring in the sense that it won't be a massive price play, but I will make sure I keep it for you above the $2 range, and that's what we're trying to do. Now, I went looking originally to see what Yu Darvish's strikeout line was going to be tomorrow. You want to add something?
No, I thought you were going to say something else. I thought you were going to say Phillies over Reds at 210 with Taiwan Walker starting.
Your guy.
Being hot.
Our guy. Nearly our guy.
He is nearly our guy. And the Phillies are underdogs versus the Reds, but Abbott is pitching. So the 210 is buyer beware. Anyways, continue.
Yeah, well, so when we'll transition from a guy who was nearly our guy to a guy who did make our rotation tomorrow starting. He was on the Noun team that we just did. We kind of looked at Logan Webb a couple of times, I think a few weeks ago, and in probably line with some of the run we've had over the last week or two, guys that we've picked have failed and then backed it up with superb starts. Like I think you had Schroeder a couple of weeks ago, and then since then he's been brilliant. I had Mackenzie Gore last week who couldn't get a strikeout. He struck out 10 Giants today and didn't give up a single run. I think another one that we looked at a while ago, 3 starts ago now, against the Mets was Logan Webb. And he just had the 4 strikeouts there in a tough day, gave up 6 earned runs, and it was his 3rd start in a row, allowing 4 or more earned runs. Since then, he got to reset in a way with 2 starts against the Pirates, and he had 11 strikeouts and 10 strikeouts. His strikeout line tomorrow is one of those weird ones where you get about $1.60 on the over, and it's a 4.5 over. But if you take the 6 or more alternate line, it's $2.35. For a guy who's coming off strikeout totals of 11 and 10, I think I have to have a piece of that. I know, you struggle a little bit sometimes with strikeouts against the Padres just because you've got Arias up there and some decent contact hitters. But I don't know if you guys have seen what Tatis is looking like at the plate lately, because he's looking lost. He's swinging at everything. A couple of the guys that they went and added are still kind of swinging wildly too. There's strikeout holes in this lineup, and this is a workhorse, right? So the 2 starts I just mentioned against the Pirates, he threw 109 and 110 pitches. Like, they will let Logan Webb go out there for as long as they need to get the job done. And he's kind of just been that rock all year for the Giants. So, yeah, happy with the price at $2.35, 6 or more strikeouts for a guy who's going to probably go 6 or more innings, and he just needs to pick up 1.
And if you were to PPD that, what would that look like out of curiosity?
The reason I didn't, and I'm not saying I necessarily won't come tomorrow, the reason I didn't was because I still don't know what to make of Yu Darvish and what he's kind of doing. But if you did want to go the 6 and the win, it's $3.40. I just kind of wanted to remove that because I've been burned by bullpens a lot lately, so Webb could throw 7 immaculate innings and pick up 10 strikeouts, and the Giants, after trading all their relievers away, will go and throw it all away with a Machado 9th inning home run. But also the Darvish factor is still a question mark for me, so I'm kind of in a bit of wait and see mode there as well. So maybe look, that if you're more of a price chaser than I am, and I'm kind of trying to just get a bunt down at this point, right? Like when you're slumping at the plate, you're happy to just drop one down and see if you can steal a hit, and that's probably what I'm going to do at the 235.
So our ticket is Red Sox over the Astros.
Eric, sorry, just one thing on that, Spoon, because you sort of talked Eric out of Cavalli strikeouts facing a Kansas City team that I think Kansas City collectively as a team have the 2nd fewest strikeouts in Major League Baseball. San Diego have the 3rd fewest strikeouts in Major League Baseball. And I get this question sometimes in other sports where, not always baseball, but you just talk about the eye test with Fernando Tatis, and that's one of those where you're going, okay, the numbers may say it. It's been a long season, but is that just something where you're seeing the Padres potentially trending more towards strikeouts? So the numbers, that what you're seeing on the whole collectively aren't necessarily telling the story about where they're at currently? Because the numbers aren't that much different between where the Royals are and where the Padres are collectively as a team. So you talk Eric out of one, and then you love one.
Yeah. It's a bit of both. It's the Webb versus Cavalli factor. Like, Webb is just doing it, and he has been doing it for a long time. I've got more comfort there. I mean, Logan Webb's having a career best strikeout rate of 10.1 per nine. So I kind of, on face value alone, a 4.5 strikeout line almost feels like it's giving the Padres a little bit too much respect. But no one knows their team like their own broadcasters. And I watched some Padres baseball over the last few days, and the frustration that they're talking about with some of the hacks guys are taking and the chasing down and away and that sort of thing just tells me that like they are in a different spot than they were earlier as far as like their approach at the plate.
Yeah, and Logan Webb is the difference maker there, right? Like, it's just, And Cavalli is, I just think there's going to be value on him. I think he looked good in his last start, and I think there's some value in a good pitcher going against an okay pitcher. That's really all that bet was. But that is, once again, Washington Nationals. Our Nats try to make that charge towards.
You could have told me, man. I would have put the James Wood on and everything. You know, he just got cut from the theme team. It's been a tough week for my James Wood Nationals jersey that I got on sale and might try to resell. Let's see.
Well, the Nationals, can they find 24 wins over their last? They need to go 24-21 to.
It's not that right. Like I looked at it recently and I was like, they're so dead. But it's like, dude, that's like two or three good weeks where they go on like an 8-2 run, and then play like 500 ball or below the rest of it.
They just seem to be mediocre.
They're gonna go ridiculously close, which is crazy given the season hasn't really gone to plan at all, and they've had some injuries and that sort of thing along the way too. And if you don't think I'm going to be backing up next year on the Washington Nationals, you are out.
Washington at 225 for the win. Logan Webb at 235, 6+ strikeouts. Yankees into the Dodgers at 255, and the Red Sox. That's always a good. The Astros, sorry, to beat the Red Sox at 245. That's a sneaky good series as well in terms of playoff implications, and that should get you ripped and ready to go.
Bregman back at Minute Maid Park as well.
And there's always the Cora connections, and, that's always a lot of fun. So get the garbage cans ready. It should be a fun series. Rolsey, anything to add before we sign off?
No, just quietly a pretty good series coming your way in Toronto this week as well, Eric. Like the Cubs are struggling, man. Watched them today, obviously, on Sunday Night Baseball against St. Louis. Peaker Armstrong was thrown out. He was picked off at second base after being on the microphone, which I hate. MLB still doing that. He tried to rob a home run from Pedro Pages while he was on the microphone, which was kind of amusing as a Cardinal fan. And then John Birdie gets thrown out trying to steal in the ninth inning as a potential tying run. And they were 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position. They're just struggling, right? Shota Imanaga put in a great start, which pains me to say as a Cardinal fan. I love watching him, but they just seem so down bad right now that going to Toronto and playing that team, I'm not going to say that it has the potential for Rockies, Blue Jays level of stuff, but the way that the Blue Jays are playing right now and a really down and out Cubs team going to Toronto, I think that could potentially be an ugly series.
The key thing is how the Jays are playing at Dome. They are 38-19 at the Dome this year, so that is a nasty home record, and that's why, the Jays got to be. Obviously, it goes without saying. That's what you got to be hoping for, is that you end up with some sort of home field advantage at some point in the playoffs, because the Jays just play different at that Dome. They built their team for that renovated ballpark, and it's paying dividends. Well, fellas, I hope you have a good week. We'll check in again on Friday. Hopefully, we're sitting a little greener. It was a fun team with the Downs there, Spoon. And don't forget to like and subscribe and share this podcast to a friend if you'd like as well. That's the Expats signing off.